And I apologize for the delays. It's beyond our control, but appreciate your patience, your persistence. I've had the opportunity twice this year to travel to Houston to meet with a lot of the energy companies and obviously Energy and Commerce Committee. And Mr. Huntsman, I had the opportunity earlier this year to meet with you, and I appreciate that. A very good conversation, very educational, and helped me a lot in understanding. But the one overriding thing that I keep hearing from all the companies is the permitting. Permitting is just crushing us. But it's not just the restrictions and the overregulation that I see from EPA. I mean, it looks like EPA is just playing by their own rules, and they set them up as they want just to get the decision that they like. And that's not the way this was set up by Congress. And for instance, I understand, and Mr. John, I believe you mentioned this, that the EPA is missing congressionally mandated deadlines to review and approve chemicals. And it's gotten so bad that even the environmental groups are complaining about it. I mean, it's ridiculous what's going on here. Let me start with you, Mr. Huntsman, and ask you, I know you make decisions about where to locate and what to build based on permitting environments and as well as stable and predictable compliance regimes. What lessons would a company like yours learn about building in America when you see, and I don't use this word lightly, I think it's accurate, when you see nothing less than hostility in both permitting and regulations to your plants, to your feedstocks, and to your products?
Well, thank you very much for the question. And you're always welcome to come to Texas. Two things. First of all, just the building and the permitting time when you have people like Mayor Bloomberg, who's spending hundreds of millions of his own dollars to get, quote, beyond petrochemicals, that somehow we're going to go back and live in a world of caves or something like that, that is going to take the litigious and the delays of just building a new technology, bringing a new technology to market can take years and years. It is ironic that we're sitting here talking about PFAS because if I wanted to make a replacement product, now think about this, and I agree with much of what you said, Congressman Tonko, and Dr. Woodruff as well. If I wanted to make an alteration to PFAS, that's actually easier to make an alteration with PFAS chemistry using existing technologies to the EPA than if I were to come up with a completely new, innovative idea. I probably would be waiting multiple years versus just a year or two, 3 to 5 years on something like that. Why on earth would I invest in something today that I'm not even sure is going to be able to hit the market for years and years? If I want to replace a PFAS technology, I'm actually disincentivized to use new technology. I'm actually disincentivized to build a new facility. I can go to China and build that facility in 2 years, get it permitted, built, probably financed, and have it running off of coal-based electricity. And that's what we're up against right now when we talk about returning money to shareholders.
Well, that was my next question. I wanted to ask you as well as you, Mr. John, because you mentioned it in your testimony as well. If people really want to reshore American manufacturing, and I can assure you we want to. We want to make sure that we're reshoring American manufacturing. But if you wanted to do that and you wanted to create an actual domestic supply chain, Mr. John, as you pointed out, we need to do that. We did indeed learn that lesson during the pandemic. What needs to happen? And Mr. Huntsman, you just mentioned some of it right there. But what needs to happen to make companies like yours willing to move back or to stay here in America?
Well, I can answer that very briefly. It really is about rewarding innovation. You look at something as simple as this water bottle. This water bottle 10 years ago took enough plastic to probably produce 10 water bottles today. And that's about innovation. It's about reducing resource. This is very profitable to make something like that because you're reducing raw materials, and it's also better for the environment. This is also raw material for our company. We consume nearly 2 billion of these bottles as a raw material for for polyurethane foam to insulate houses. So this is both the raw material, it's technology, it's innovation. We need to be rewarding. We're not asking for government help. We just stay out of the way on some of these.
Mr. John, you want to take a stab at that?
Sure. So again, you look at the new chemicals program. We've got a member company that's got a chemistry pending at EPA for 5 years that goes into electric vehicle batteries. And so, again, we have to reward innovations with the investment here in the United States to achieve our national priority goals. So I think what our members are looking for overall is regulatory certainty, that the process works the way it's supposed to work and it's done on time.
Great. Well, again, thank all of you for being here. This is extremely important, and I hope that we are listening. We've got the business community right here telling us what we need to be doing, and no one knows better than they do. So thank you, and I'll yield back, Mr.